What is going on, guys? It is the Anime Jaguar here, or you can call me AJ for short if that is a tongueful for you. And today, we are going to rank one of the best Disney animation eras. We're doing the Disney Renaissance. A lot of people say it is the best era, it's their strongest era, and I can see why they say that. Some of Disney's greatest animated films were released from the Disney Renaissance from 1989 to 1999. And I'm going to rank all of them here. I will have some hot takes like I always do. You can always expect that from me and more. And there is a playlist of other Disney eras I have ranked. It will be a playlist up here, or it will be in the link in the description below. Or you just look through my channel and then you'll find it there. And with that out of the way, let's rank the Disney Renaissance. Be prepared. Coming in at number 10, Pocahontas. This is the Disney Renaissance feature that has the most effort put into it. That's probably the nicest thing I can say about it. The biggest flaw with this film is the inconsistent mood that doesn't know if it wants to satisfy children or adults instead of both simultaneously. There are also characters that aren't as well constructed as other movies from this era. I still think you should watch it if you're a Disney fan. This is one of the few bad Disney films I would still recommend people to watch. This fell completely flat compared to what the animators expected this feature to be. This almost missed the bad tier. It was so close to being good, but I watched it again and I thought, there's more things I don't like about it than I do like about it. So that's why it's last place on the Disney Renaissance. Number 9. The Rescuers Down Under. It may not be as good as most Disney Renaissance features, but it's still magnificent. The Rescuers Down Under exceed the accomplishments done by the original in order to provide a powerful adventure movie. It has a few flaws, but with the charming plot, incredible animation, serious action, and pleasant characters, it manages to be one of Disney's most action-packed films. If you're in the mood for a terrific adventure, you should definitely check it out. I don't think you even need to see the first Rescuers in order to enjoy this one, unless you want to know the backstory of the Rescue Aid Society. This is one of Disney's most underappreciated animated movies. Number 8. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Out of all the Disney animated movies I've ranked, this is the most divided. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is not only one of Disney's gloomiest animated features, but it's also one of the most underappreciated. The addition of the comedy and the gargoyles are out of place, but this is one of those films that when something is done right, it is performed faultlessly, with a powerful plot that takes some chances, gorgeous animation, unforgettable characters, and an influential soundtrack. If you adore the book and wish for a loyal version, this is not for you. If it doesn't bother you, I recommend it. This is geared more towards Disney fans than Victor Hugo fans. Nonetheless, I recommend it. This is a dazzling movie and a prominent example of Disney storytelling. Number 7. Hercules. Greek mythology is always an interesting concept for a film. There are multiple fables about gods and all of the imaginary animals that can bring some obstacles for the filmmakers to overcome. We have seen plenty of Greek mythology entertainment for the past few decades, with each adaptation having its own perspective. This may be one of the weaker Disney Renaissance features, but is still wonderful regardless. Hercules would take the classic Greek myths and transform them into an entertaining animated movie. It is not as flawless as some of the features before it, but it still provides imaginative and distinct animation, lovely characters, and outstanding songs. This is one of those movies that's meant for pure entertainment and laughter. This film has some weaknesses that are apparent, but the decent parts make up for it in the end. Number 6. Tarzan. I can definitely see why Disney decided to do an adaptation of Tarzan. Tarzan is about a family that is shipwrecked on an island and they have to survive with no resources. Sadly for them, a cheetah comes and murders Tarzan's parents, leaving Tarzan alone. Ironically, the same cheetah murders the kid of an ape family, and that family ends up meeting Tarzan. The mother decides that she wants to raise Tarzan as her new son, but the father is hesitant. I'm not going to get into it anymore, but that's just the beginning of it, and you can watch the rest of it if that sounds interesting to you after I give my explanation of what I think about this movie. The animation is tremendous, and the two main protagonists are pleasant. There is just something pleasant when you're watching Tarzan swinging through the trees. The color scheme is energetic and lively. This is of course a feature for all ages. It never felt flamboyant. It stuck with the fleshy climate of the source material, and it did its own thing. The soundtrack is kind of odd. Phil Collins came up with some memorable songs, but they aren't the focus, they're just background music. It's like they made it for another film, like not a Tarzan film, not an adventure film, it's more like a musical, I would say. But they're still good songs. Number 5, Mulan. There is a lot to like about this movie. This is one of Disney's most action-packed features of all time. This is my type of story. I enjoy action-packed films. I feel like I can easily sit down, watch, and enjoy this movie. It builds towards the big climax battle. The antagonist is generic, and Mushu can be annoying at times, but those aren't major problems. This film puts an entertaining Mulan in a feature that is as powerful and committed as the main character. It can have some oddities, and the beginning is feeble, but it still manages to provide an immersing plot, cultural animation, incredible characters, and memorable songs, even without Alan Menken. It's certainly an entertaining watch for anyone, and Disney fans still love it, but I would highly recommend it for someone who wants a girl power film. What I mean by that is a movie that shows that women can do what men can do. For a feature that is fondly remembered as nearly the closing point of the Disney Renaissance, this is a film that competes with the best. Number 4, The Little Mermaid. This was the feature that kickstarted the Disney Renaissance. It was also Disney's first Broadway musical. I can't name anyone that hasn't seen it. There is no need to compare it to the Hans Christian Andersen book. This was the return of the fairy tale story with the sharp dialogue, delightful songs, and the gorgeous animation. This movie has the moral weaknesses that are normal for Disney features. An example would be wanting to marry a person after just meeting them for the first time, but that's normal for Disney. The things that are decent in this film are examples of Disney at their best. The music is excellent and some of the best by Alan Menken. The animation is celestial. The comedic characters are unforgettable, and the antagonist is tremendous. Even King Triton is well made for a father figure in a Disney movie. The tenderness and effort put into this movie is apparent. Everyone in Disney wanted to officially end the Disney Dark Age. The main characters are likable, and even though they're not perfect, this is not a perfect film. But either way, it is a Disney classic. Number 3, Beauty and the Beast. 2 years before Beauty and the Beast came out, Disney refreshed the animated movie, not only gearing it towards children, but also branching out to a more mature audience in mind. It's not surprising that Disney tried to do the same thing with this film. The location obviously changed from an aquatic setting to 18th century France. This is the first animated feature to be nominated for Best Picture. This has aged well almost 30 years later. The entire movie is made with this sense of beauty and dignity. It was almost like they knew this would be a classic. This film also has plenty of fun and comedy. It flawlessly combines the complexity and entertainment. The characters are tremendous. The story of love and salvation is profound. If I had to point out one flaw, it would be the design of the human version of the Beast. The animator said that they knew they couldn't please everyone with the human design, so they just went with what they thought would be the best. Do I really need to say any more? The songs are unforgettable, and this movie is aged like fine wine. This isn't just one of the iconic Disney features, or one of the great anime movies of all. This is one of the greatest features of all time. Number 2, The Lion King. Before this was released in theaters, The Lion King was considered a Disney B feature compared to Pocahontas. It wasn't ambitious and was thought of as a talking animals animated film with Elton John songs. During production, it was nicknamed Bambi in Africa. It was not heavily promoted like Pocahontas, but the animators did the best they could with the concept. No one at Disney expected this to be an international sensation that transformed Disney animation. This was the hardest movie from this era to write a script for. It was difficult to find the precise words to describe my emotions when watching the feature. This is one of the most impressive animated films ever made. The Lion King has impacted millions of people around the world since it was released. What hasn't been said about this feature to describe it as a masterpiece? The Lion King is one of Disney's greatest accomplishments in animation, and it is evidence that an animated movie can be one of the greatest movies in cinema history. With its fascinating story, gorgeous animation, unforgettable characters, and memorable soundtrack, this film easily transformed into a pop culture icon. This is one of those features that you need to watch at least once in order to function in current society. Number 1, Aladdin. Contrary to other Disney Renaissance features, it's not one of the best because of how revolutionary it was. Instead, it's the best because of how entertaining it is. I was entertained by the songs, characters, and action that is easy to follow. Classic Looney Tunes animator Chuck Jones considered this the funniest film ever. This was a box office success, a huge awards collector, and it even started the direct-to-DVD trend for better or for worse. Aladdin even turned into a popular Broadway musical and an animated TV series. Robin Williams gives one of the best performances in animation history. Even if Robin Williams wasn't in the movie, this would still be a fun adventure. Disney basically let him do whatever he wanted, and then told the animators to somehow animate this. Among all of the Disney animated movies, Aladdin is one of the most amusing and desirable features of all time. Not only is it amusing with a memorable soundtrack and astonishing comedy, but it also contains outstanding animation, well-developed characters, and a story that takes advantage of the 90-minute runtime. You can never go wrong by watching this movie. If you're into feel-good films, it doesn't get any better. This isn't just one of Disney's best features, it's also one of their most momentous. Aladdin set a new standard for animated movies. Thank you guys for watching the video, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel, and the playlist will be up here again or in the link in the description below. I'll see you guys in my next video. If you guys have any video suggestions for me or video rankings I should do, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time.